Time now for the Sports Six-Pack with Andrew Rogers.
Again, the Sports Six-Pack is here, and we are ready to deliver your favorite questions, all those things that you sent in that you needed some answers on. We've got them here. Shane will toss them around. We'll hear some drops. We'll get some drinks in, and let's have some fun.
Question number 1.
With the firing of Brian Harsin, how does that affect Nebraska's coaching search going forward?
Excellent question. Brian Harsin, of course, Auburn's former head coach. That's kind of like a tongue twister when you say Auburn and former, because you also want to say like Auburn, four more, because you're trying to run them together. Auburn's former head coach, Brian Harsin, out. Who's in next? Well, it's a great question because this really does affect Nebraska if they are still tickling the idea of going the national head coaching search route opposed to sticking with Mickey Joseph. I think there's still time for them to figure out who they want and if Mickey will be the guy moving forward or if he'll take a lesser role or, maybe, I would hate to say this, but if you don't give Mickey the job, maybe he goes somewhere else and you lose one of your best recruiters. I think that is a non-negotiable, keeping him in Nebraska in some way, shape, or form. But maybe he's not just yet ready for that big head coaching spot. Now, think about other interims that have gone on to be super successful. One being Dabo Swinney when he took over for Clemson. He may not have been the big name people wanted down there in Clemson, but look what he's doing for that program. Look where he's taken that program. Is Mickey Joseph Dabo Swinney? It's too soon to tell. But when you take a look at Auburn here, Auburn is an SEC program. They will be a member of that Power 2 that we are looking forward to in years to come. Yes, Nebraska is a big part of that too, and they have a fan base and a lot of boosters to support this program. The fans, no matter how the team is doing, always show out at Memorial Stadium. It's an enticing spot for coaches to end up. But think about the immediate success that Auburn has had over the course of the last 10, 12 years. They've won a national title. Nebraska hasn't, and that appeals more to coaches being able to play in the SEC for a winning program, something that has turned around further than at Nebraska. It's going to be hard for Nebraska to say, hey, if Leipold's the guy everybody wants. I know it's just for example. It's a hypothetical. Say he's the guy, he's the top-tier coach. Is Leipold going to want to come to Nebraska, or is he going to want to go to the SEC and coach down at Auburn? It's going to be even tougher competition to get the guy you want now that a coaching spot has opened up in as big of a program as the SEC.
Question number 2.
Game 3 of the World Series was rained out. Which team benefits the most from it?
A lot of people, Shaner, were upset because they didn't get to watch baseball last night. But in a way, you look at how much this has benefited the Phillies now. With little less impressive starting pitching than the Astros. It's not major. I've said that already on the Six-Pack before. It's a slight edge given to the Astros, but think about what one extra day of rest does for a pitching staff like the Phillies. You look at Ranger Suarez going tonight against Lance McCullers Jr. They went away from using Noah Syndergaard, who was supposed to go yesterday. They were able to retool how they approach the rest of the World Series. You get one extra day of rest for Nola that you didn't expect on having. Maybe Nola goes for Game 4 now. Maybe Wheeler goes for Game 5. Maybe you have these guys now even more readily available if a series were to go to 7.
Is baseball as festive as the NFL is on Halloween?
No. Absolutely not.
It's not?
The way that Myles Garrett showed up and the rest of the men on Monday Night Football showed up to the game in costumes, and then even the fans wearing costumes in the seats, fans are more inclined to paint themselves a color when it comes to football opposed to baseball. I think it's maybe just more the pace of the game, maybe the more contact, the more crazy you go in the stands. Yeah, in the NFL, they are a lot more festive than they are in the MLB.
Question number 3.
Karaoke took place at HVC last weekend. What's your go-to karaoke song there, Andrew?
Mr. Brightside.
Really?
That is my go-to one, and it's strategic because I also participated in karaoke over the weekend.
Shocker.
I know. I'm sure that comes as a shock to a lot of people, but put on the Killers at about 10:30, 11 o'clock when people are like just starting to get over to the hump of, hey, I'm feeling tipsy. I'm feeling
like that
good
band,
right now.
by the way.
Hey, Mr. Brightside's a great song, and it's a song that a lot of people know and a lot of people like to sing to. Karaoke, to me, is not about being an American Idol contestant. And I think to a lot of people it is to them because there are so many, and this is not a knock on those that are great singers. You guys make it hard for people to want to do karaoke because you're so dang good that somebody like me or, average Joe that's not a fantastic singer gets up there and is just more about the environment, the atmosphere, the act of doing karaoke than they are about singing and trying to get Blake Shelton to turn around his chair. There's just a big divide for me there, and I want a lot of people in the building not to really hear me. So if I'm playing a song that everybody knows and that everybody screams to, then hey, we're having fun. I'm having a blast up there on the mic, and I love to work the mic.
You do like to do that.
And now I can explore a little bit and have some fun in groups of people, make some new friends. Nobody hates on Mr. Brightside.
Question number 4.
Why do I feel like I'm getting tipsy? Will there be a bigger name than Roquan Smith that goes before the NFL trade deadline?
Huh.
Man, I come up with some good questions, don't I?
You do. It is a tough question. Well, because CMC, so Christian McCaffrey, is probably the biggest name dealt prior to the deadline, but in regards to timely news, because Roquan Smith, of course, being traded yesterday,
right.
I know exactly what you're saying here. So since 2012, there's only been 1 year, Shaner, that trades on deadline day have eclipsed 3, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But there are a lot of unrestricted free agents next year.
What year was it, by the way?
That will need to find homes. Oh, man, I'm going to look it up now. Schefter tweeted it out earlier this morning. I did not come up with that stat on my own. But
oh, that's okay.
No, I'm gonna dig it up for you because I just found it. I got it right here. 2018, there were 5 moves made on deadline day. But I look at a lot of people and a lot of athletes and where they're at today and how many could be signing big contracts in the near future. Just look at the Denver Broncos. Bradley Chubb is an unrestricted free agent next year at linebacker. He's somebody that's going to get a massive contract. Jerry Jeudy could get dealt. KJ Hamler, Albert O, Josh Allen's another linebacker that people are talking about. However, his 5th-year option is like $10.8 million. So a big extension is coming for him too. I think Jacksonville will want to hold on to their standout pass rusher rather than trade him. Brandon Cooks is a name being tossed around, but I don't think he's as big as Roquan Smith. Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Isaiah Wynn, Brian Burns, that's a big name. If Brian Burns were to be dealt, if Bradley Chubb, like a name like that were to be dealt, then yes. Kareem Hunt, I don't think is as big of a name as he once was,
no.
But I'd expect him to be tossed around today. Of course, you'll hear this episode at 6 o'clock. We are recording earlier in the morning just to touch on that, so don't think that I'm behind on news when it's actually coming out to you. I'm going to say no, Shane. I'm going to say Roquan Smith is the biggest name outside of McCaffrey to come out before the deadline.
Question number 5.
Who is your top Week 8 waiver priority?
Deontay Foreman. But if those listen to God Bless Fantasy Football, you know that I've been on Deontay Foreman since last week's waiver wire period. And to top that off, when we were talking about drafting people and when McCaffrey was looked at as a running back that seems to get hurt every year, I said grab Deontay Foreman over Chuba Hubbard. I liked the way Foreman finished out last season. I'll say it again. If you did not jump on Deontay Foreman and he's available in your league, he's the top waiver ad. There is no doubt in my mind that he will be the RB1 for that team going forward. And it's all help to Chuba Hubbard getting hurt last week. I know they played the Houston Texans defense. No. No, that was Derrick Henry. See, I'm getting them mixed up now because the Titans had Deontay Foreman last year, and that's what got me thinking there, going down that route with Derrick Henry, which Derrick Henry had an awesome day too. But you look at the matchup that Deontay Foreman did have last week, and Carolina played, oh man, they had it was like a high-scoring game. The Falcons, not a good rushing defense either. I got there, don't worry, I got there. But their schedule does get tougher down the stretch. I wouldn't expect Deontay Foreman to have 2 touchdowns every week. I wouldn't expect him to have 150-plus yards every week. But he will be the top waiver ad this week, and he should be in all formats. PPR, standard, you name it.
Question number 6.
Would you rather have a pause or a rewind button in your life?
Would you rather question. I love it. I would rather, man, gosh, it's so deep. Shaner's like digging into my feels here. A pause button would be like the option I think most people would choose, because if you take a rewind button, I'm assuming you can't then fast forward back to present, right? You would have to start over.
You'd have to start over.
And then redo it. And I can see the directions people go here, because if I had a rewind button, it would be awesome. Absolutely. So I'm going to go really deep here. I never met my dad's mom because she passed away when my dad was 19.
No.
So it wouldn't go that far for me, but when I think about like a loss in a family, like my girlfriend Ashley lost her dad just 4 years ago, and a rewind button would allow her to spend more time with him, but then she'd have to go through that event again, and that's just as tough. So I almost am kind of leaning toward the pause button, maybe the enjoy the moment button. Like, I would be able to get to see my uncle who passed away recently and my aunt who passed away suddenly just a few years ago. And that to me would be like just great to live those moments again, but I don't know if I'd want to go through that tragic time period again.
And what'd you call the button? The enjoy the
enjoy the moment button.
That's got to
pause
be
button.
That's got to be a big button on the remote right there.
Right. And, you know, because I thought about it this, like maybe even this morning when I woke up and saw the sunrise. I was up super early, but what is everybody's first thing to think about instead of enjoying the moment nowadays? It's pulling out the iPhone, the Android, whatever, and taking a video or a photo of a sunset, or Tiger Woods taking a shot at the Masters. They want the video on their phone. But what about like the pause button? Like, just take a moment and just be like, I can't believe I'm here right now. I can't believe Tiger Woods is standing right in front of me. I can't believe that I got to witness this with my 2 eyes. Our memories, our brains are meant to capture moments like that too. It's not just has to be on our phone. I think I'd take the pause button.
So I can't believe I'm here at HBC right now, here with you. I'm enjoying the moment.
Take that mental picture, Shane.
I'm taking the mental picture.
Blink twice. Let it come through. Maybe it's a Polaroid. You can shake it out and then see it later. That was fun. A good 6-pack today.
I like that.
Feeling tipsy yet? Catch more of Andrew Rogers from 7 to 9 in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio.